Hi, so this short video is going to cover writing your 5-question multiple choice objective test. So first off, you're only doing 5 questions and you're writing the questions based off of the document or the reading passage that I provided for you inside Blackboard. So 5 questions, it has to be on that particular reading passage, and they all have to be multiple choice questions. So what I'm going to go over with you today is how to write that multiple choice question and kind of hit some of the highlights. So let me share my screen with you. So first off, this is an example of a multiple choice question. So when I'm talking through some of the stuff today, I want you to understand what I'm referring to. So this part here is the question stem. Then you have your distractors, and the key is the correct answer choice. So first we're going to cover some of the suggestions for writing your stem. And so here's number one. Number one, you need to provide a single definitive statement. You want to stuff your stem. So if you look at the weak question, all it says is polysaccharides. But in the improved question, there was a lot more information that's provided. So you want to have a balance between stuffing your stem, meaning providing enough information, but not providing so much information that it becomes quite lengthy and difficult to comprehend what's being asked. The other thing you want to make sure is with each question, you're really only focusing on one aspect. You're not trying to test on multiple things and within one question. Why? Because then if they miss it, it's hard to know what they missed, which concept they missed. So if you're trying to, let's say, test on polysaccharides and test on other types of chemical reactions, and they got it wrong, well, which part of that question did they not understand? So first off, you want to present on one single thing, but you do want to provide enough information in the stem that the students know what's being referred to. So if you'll notice in this weak question versus the improved question, more of the information is in the stem and less information is inside the distractors. So that's something that you want to do. Like I just mentioned, you want to avoid that unnecessary or irrelevant information. So it's not really relevant that he experiments with playful language. That doesn't help the student understand or doesn't point them in the direction of what you're actually asking. So make sure that you eliminate any kind of irrelevant information, including some of those phrases like "of the following." You just want very straightforward language in your stem and not have a lot of extraneous information. The other thing, I know a lot of teachers love to use negatives, and I know I use negatives sometimes too, but you want to use them sparingly. And that's because students have a tendency to just skim right over that negative word inside of the stem or inside of the distractor. So use those very sparingly. And for the purposes of this assignment, I'm asking you not to use them at all. So no negatives inside any of your questions or your distractors. So stuff the stem, that's the weak question versus improved question here. And again, you'll notice there's more information in the improved question in the stem than there is in the A, B, C, D, E distractor choices. Okay, so writing distractors. Again, make sure there's only one response. There's only one correct response in your distractor. A lot of times if you're doing something that's as far as a timeline or even people, alphabetical order or chronological order is also best. I am going to switch over to this other item that I've put inside Blackboard for you. And so it gives you more information on your stems, but what I specifically wanted to look for in this document was the distractors, so bear with me a minute here as I'm moving down to that. Okay, so first off, when you're writing them for me, you're going to be writing them vertically rather than horizontally. So make sure you've written them vertically. Next, you want to vary the number of distractors. So 3 or 4 is fine. You don't always have to have 4. If you don't need to have 4, then don't put 4. So the biggest thing is you don't want to include a distractor that seems absolutely ridiculous, because then what's the point of having the distractor? You know, you don't want to have Bugs Bunny as one of the possible presidents. So avoid those ridiculous distractors in there. So 3 to 4 is fine for the purposes of this assignment. And do make sure that you're putting an asterisk by the correct answer there. Okay, overlapping alternatives. I know, again, this is a favorite of some instructors and professors, but you really want to avoid this as well. The others themselves, or others themselves, but not others. Just straightforward, single response. You also don't want to have the all of the above or none of the above. So you want to try to avoid those as much as possible. Hence the suggestion there. Do not use all the above or none of the above. Okay, so just eliminate that choice altogether. Here's again where it reminds you to put them in logical or numerical order. That's preferable. Okay, and you also don't want to do these complex multiple response ones where it's possibly 1 and 2, 1, 2 and 3, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Again, it's just really hard to determine what they're actually knowing. The purpose of the assessment is to find out what they know and what they don't know. And so these types of questions makes it more difficult to assess that. Okay. All right, so grammatical clues is the last thing that we're going to go over. So grammatical clues such as if you say are, that suggests plural, is suggests singular, having none or all in a true-false question, for example, or most or best. Sometimes those give clues that you're unaware of giving. So just take your time in writing these. It seems like it's really easy, but it's quite difficult to actually write a good multiple choice question. I do want you to spend some time reviewing these 2 documents on your own and applying some of these standards and rules for creating multiple choice. So again, you're going to have 5 multiple choice questions. You do need to tell me what level of blooms they are. So are they remember, understand, apply, analyze, evaluate, create? And then you also need to make sure you provide me a key by just highlighting the right answer or providing an asterisk, something of that nature. And again, you do have to use the reading passage that I provided to create your 5-question multiple choice test. So if you have any questions, let me know and I'm happy to help.